Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. I've been a little bit busy this morning without the camera being on. I've been spending time with the unicorn and I needed to get my direction figured out before I got on camera to describe what I was doing. I completely switched up my whole concept about how I'm going to treat it. And I actually have some optimism, and I tend to be a little bit overly optimistic. So just, take that with a grain of salt then. But because of how I've changed up my direction, I think that I might even get to a good stopping place today, because I had shared with you yesterday that I wanted to take this to my granddaughter for her to see the progress. And if I had gotten it to a place where it wouldn't be scary, and it's already not scary. I'm going to show you a picture on screen and describe it. I just decided to take off the netting, not take it off. But, and in fact, I'm doubling a bunch of it up and kind of sewing on top of it to give some texture to my outline. And it's exactly what I was envisioning, but I couldn't figure out. This is typical for me. It just, there's an expression for that, par for the course for me, that I know what I want, especially on something new. Like this is a skill set that I don't have. I have no experience in this, but being crafty and, figuring things out, that's been my MO all my life. I got that from my mother and my father and, just lots of other people too. So I like how it's shaping up. There's texture in this outline of this unicorn. I really didn't want to cover up the vibrant fabrics in the core of the body of the unicorn, but I did want to trace it, and I wanted some depth and some texture. And so I'm going to be achieving that with this technique. The thing that I am not going to be able to achieve with this technique is enclosing any fabrics or materials, some ribbons or whatever that would that I was worried about being able to go through the laundry, and that's going to have to be okay, because that's just going to have to be okay. I've been worrying too much about how well something's going to stand up. I'll use a little bit of ribbon and some things like that. But for the most part, I doubt this thing's going to go in the wash. Just like your teddy bears don't go in the wash much unless something gets on them. If it needed to be spot washed or whatever, it could. But I'm not using anything terribly fragile either. So I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. Stay tuned. I'll show you probably in the very next clip. Voila, this is what I've got done. Let me show it to you. Here, let me see if this is any better. I'll put it on the screen too. I'll take some pictures of different features and put it on screen. I just wanted to show you kind of where I got to. As you can see, I did take off the netting. I really like how I rolled it up here and stitched on top of it, kind of as if I was sketching in hair, horse's hair, unicorn hair. I do like that it lends a bit of a pink tone, all that netting that's rolled up underneath the white stitching. I couched down rather roughly, and that was on purpose for a couple of different reasons, but a blue yarn around the horn to just kind of emphasize it and to bring a little bit of a different tone into it. And then I used that blue thread, which is a variegated thread. It's a Gutermann thread, to put in some blue hair. I wanted to add some more colors in here, and I kind of want to add some depth there too, some texture, not just, because this is turning into just a mesh, not a mesh, mesh of hair right there, of a thread right there. And I want the kind of texture that this provides over here. So I want some horse hair, some mane, want some real texture there. So what I've got to do is I want to do a little bit of sketching here to kind of curve the head right there and to make this action all make sense a little bit more. So I think if I add some white stitching in kind of a curve area here, I need to think about which direction all that needs to go. I don't want it to be heavy like I don't want to put any of the netting underneath it. It just kind of almost like this, but maybe not even as heavy as that. Just a little bit of something to take away from this. I wish I had not put the yarn right there. I wish I had not couched that yarn down. And of course I need to stitch down the pink inside of the ear and probably do a little bit of that sketching on the exterior of the ear, and work on maybe a little bit of shading on the nose. I don't know. The main thing I'm going to do next is focus on this area and figure out how to add texture into the mane. And then I need to oh, that kind of looks good, doesn't it? And then I need to cut away. I'm going to cut away all of this material back here. And when I quilt on the inside, which I need to do, I either need to take away this flannel and just use it as a stabilizer, or I need to actually quilt it so that it lies flat without the puckering. Because you can see how, I think you can see kind of how it's puckering up a little bit. I can certainly feel how it's puckering. And the only way to do that is to put some stitching in there so that it's drawn, this top is drawn to the back kind of evenly and not just in spots. But I'd want to use an invisible thread to do that. The reason I want to keep the flannel back there is so that whenever I take the flannel away, kind of like that a lot. When I take the flannel away, right, when I trim this, and then you're going to have a texture, you're going to have texture here that you don't have here, depth. Yeah, texture is probably an okay word, but that's not what I mean. It will be thicker right here versus how it will be right here. And then I'll sandwich this together with batting and a backing and do some quilting. Then not quite sure what all I'll do, you know, maybe some vines or a rainbow or stars or, you know, flowers, all the unicorn things. So I felt like it was a productive day, made some decisions, felt like a big girl, you know, making those decisions. Executive decisions always are empowering. I don't know if I will get around to doing any more to it tomorrow before I leave town. I have physical therapy tomorrow, and I want to go to the quilt shop because I want to go by and get a feel for the direction I want to go with the colorway for the quilt along that Kimberly Jolly and Pat Sloan and Sherry McConnell are doing. And that's the quilt called, it's a sew along. Did I say sew along or quilt along? The sew along with the three of them. And I don't know who else might be joining in. I'm sure there's loads of you, but it's called Time to Piece and Quilt is what it's called. And it's in the book, Celebrate with Quilts. And I lied to you guys. I thought I had purchased that book already, but I went into my Fat Quarter Shop account to look at fabric and saw that book sitting in the shopping cart. I just didn't finish my purchase. I really thought I had. So I don't have it purchased yet. I was expecting it, you know, this Friday, but it's not going to be here Friday, clearly. And that's most unfortunate. But I need to make a decision on the fabric. Originally, I was thinking, and the reason the quilt even got my attention in the first place, besides the people that are doing it, was because it was shown in the Shoreline line of fabrics, which y'all know I adore. I adore that fabric line. But I don't think I need to do another one in that exact fabric line. I think it's okay if I venture away and kind of broaden the scope of what's challenging me. What I'm thinking about doing is a real moody palette, just your deep grays and deep navy blues and like a deep stormy night over an ocean, kind of or a lake or any large body of water where you just get a lot of depth and a lot of saturation. The friend I want to give that quilt to is another one of my angels, and she's all about the moody palette. You don't really realize that when you enter her home. There are white walls, but the trim's in black, and there's just no color. She doesn't really care for color. She just has all neutrals, but she does use a little bit of blue. So I want to challenge myself to work with this quilt along, this sew along that everyone else is going to be doing, and I'm sure beautiful color ways from a variety of different fabric lines. I want to challenge myself to do it in some moody blues and grays, moody blues, blacks, and grays, and maybe a little bit of taupe thrown in there. I don't know, but I need to go to the fabric store tomorrow. Is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to see the grandbaby. I'm going to go to physical therapy. I'm going to go to the quilt shop. I don't know that I can do all that and doing more on this before I head out of town. I'm going to try. I'm going to get up early enough, hopefully, that I can at least do a little bit on it, because I'd like for her to see it. I really want her. She can't come in my space often enough for her to appreciate the concept of making something like this from scratch. But I can at least take it to her. She just turned 5. She has the capability of understanding DIY crafting and making and that creative process. And I want to help foster that. That's the reason I've committed to always hand making something for the grandchildren. And as long as I can, I will. Whenever I can, I will. Will it always work out? I'm not making commitments, but that is the goal. You know what they say about making plans. They don't always work out the way you want them to, but we can have goals, right? All right, my friends, I'm going to call it good with this. Thank you for being here on this journey with me and helping me to learn and grow and mature my skill sets. And appreciate everybody who has subscribed this week. Thank you very much, everyone who's been here on this journey, who's subscribed and sharing and commenting. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you helping me grow this channel. And thank you for being on this journey with me. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.